Meet the Ferre family. Collectively, they have managed type 1 diabetes for 128 years. It's a story that began in 1963.
The year I was born, 1963, my father, as a 28-year-old, was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. So that was at a stage in diabetic management where they didn't have glucose monitors, you couldn't prick your finger, syringes were about this long and you had to boil them in a pot on your stove.
But Peter's father, David, would not be the only member of the family forced to change his lifestyle.
My older brother, Paul, was diagnosed when he was 13 years old, which was in 1974. And then I was diagnosed when I was 15 years old, which was in 1978, so 4 years after Paul. I do remember my parents were out to dinner, and I was at home on my own, and I was thirsty. I got a little piece of litmus paper out, which is what you used to test your blood sugar with. A little roll where you take a piece of paper off, and if it turned green, it meant your blood sugar was high. And I remember it turning dark green.
Peter knew what that meant, essentially diagnosing himself, informing his parents when they returned home he had diabetes.
Anybody want to guess? Does anybody think it's high or low?
Medium.
Now a father of 4, happily married and successful, Peter's perspective on living with type 1 diabetes is simple.
I've never allowed diabetes to be a reason to not do something. Dear Lord, thank you for this beautiful day and for this food together. I've lived a really, really full life, and as full or fuller than most 47-year-old men who never had diabetes.
It's an inconvenience, and it's hard to watch sometimes, but it is totally manageable. It hasn't slowed us down at all, and he inspires me daily. You know, there are no excuses.
But type 1 diabetes is never easy, especially when there is yet another diagnosis in the same family.
Then in 2000, my older brother, who lives in southeastern Georgia, his youngest daughter, Brittany, was diagnosed when she was 7.
College-bound in the fall, Brittany Ferre has never allowed diabetes to define who she is. A homecoming court member, a successful athlete. The Ferres credit their mother, Ginny, for enabling 3 generations to manage their diabetes successfully.
Mom did a great job with us because she created tremendous structure. So whether I did it all the time or not, she taught us to measure our food and to weigh our food, which in today's world is called carbohydrate counting. She's been my father's biggest diabetes management partner, and the reason why he, at 77, is still very, very healthy.
Ginny Ferre is humble about her influence.
Peter gives credit to me for he, his dad, and his brother being healthy and leading active lifestyles. I give credit to each of them for learning the tools to a healthy diabetic life and using them in the way they live. Needless to say, I am proud of all of them and never tried to treat them as someone having diabetes, but as individuals with great potential for their own lives.
She deserves a big round of applause. So if we're at, and I'll right now get emotional, if this gets aired at the Promise Gala, I'd like to ask everybody to give my mom a big round of applause.
This close-knit family, while living successfully with diabetes, doesn't deny their desire for a cure. They remind us all why we are here tonight.
My hope is founded in some very deeply rooted research and a track record through JDRF and the medical community. I mean, there have been such amazing breakthroughs. We're on the brink of so many more, and I know it's in our near future.
The message I'd just like to share with everybody tonight: give. Give and give tonight, and realize that the dollars that you're giving to the JDRF tonight could cause a 6-year-old little boy to not have to worry about the complications of diabetes. Could cause a 47-year-old man to not think about what the long-term complications of diabetes could be someday.
Your gift, your support, means courage and hope and the promise of a cure.